Good morning, everyone. I'd like to welcome all committee members, staff, and guests to the June 24, 2024 Haldeman Norfolk Health and Social Services Advisory Committee meeting. I'd like to remind everyone that our meetings are web streamed. And with that, I call the June 24, 2024 Haldeman Norfolk Health and Social Services Advisory Committee meeting to order. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interests? Seeing none, are there any additions to the agenda? Seeing none, adoption of advisory committee meeting minutes. 3.1, Health and Social Services Advisory Committee, May 17th, 2024. May I have a motion to approve the Haldeman Norfolk Health and Social Services Advisory Committee meeting minutes from May 17th, 2024? Moved by Councillor Van Passen, seconded by Councillor Duthie. All in favor? That motion is carried. Thank you. Update on reports. Are there any updates on previous reports?
Thank
Sarah?
you, Madam Chair. They were all passed at Board of Health and staff proceeded as directed.
Thank you. Under staff reports 5.1 Public Health, it's 5.1.1 HNHU 2023 Annual Report and Attestation, HSS 24028. Sarah, do you want to read?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to introduce our Program Manager, Jackie Wood, to present the report.
Thank you, Sarah. Through the chair to committee members, I will be presenting report HSS-24-028, HNHU 2023 Annual Report and Attestation. So the Annual Report and Attestation is a funding and accountability reporting tool that boards of health are required to submit annually. This includes year-end financial and program-related summaries. This is a requirement of the Ontario Public Health Standards and the Public Health Funding and Accountability Agreement. The Ministry of Health requires Board of Health approval and board chair signature prior to submission. So health unit staff completed the narrative components of the template, reporting on key achievements related to program delivery, and the Board of Health attestation demonstrating compliance with the standards. Financial management and planning completed the financial worksheets providing year-end actuals for each program, and one-time funding projects, which can be found summarized within the report. I just wanted to note that boards of health are no longer required to report on program outcomes as part of the annual report, as they are included in the Q4 standard activity reporting. And then lastly, when compared to the approved budget, the year-end actuals have significantly reduced variances compared to other pandemic years. And this is anticipated to improve as the health unit continues to recover. Thank you for your time, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Before we move on to questions, can I get a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by Councillor Metcalf, seconded by Councillor Van Rishi. Discussion? I don't believe I see any discussion. All in favor? And that motion is carried. Thank you. And next is 5.1.2. HNHU Risk Management Update, HSS 24034. Sarah, would you like to introduce? Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to introduce Program Manager Marcia Anna Muthundo, and she'll be presenting this risk management update.
Thank you. And through the chair to the committee, I will present the Haldeman Norfolk Health Unit Risk Management Update Information Memo Report HSS-24-034 to be received as information. In 2023, the Risk Management Registry was presented to the Advisory Committee and to the Board of Health. It was requested that an update be provided annually to the Board of Health. The maintenance of a risk registry is a requirement of the Ontario Public Health Standard. Attached is the updated Risk Management Registry report as of December 2023. As you can see, we've been able to make some changes which address and ultimately reduce some of the risks to the health unit. We have made significant progress in how personal health information is secured, and we continue to work on putting further measures in place. We continue to work on file digitization and retention. At the end of December 2023, there was much uncertainty about the merger, and this posed a significant risk to HNHU. However, as things become clearer and communication occurs with the staff and community, this risk continues to be mitigated. As you can see, there is a significant risk to HNHU due to the fax system and the challenges which this has posed. HNHU is continually working closely with IT to find a permanent solution, which will hopefully will mitigate this significant risk. Thank you, and I'm happy to answer questions.
Thank you. Before questions, can I get a mover and a seconder, please? Thank you. Moved by Councillor Duthie, seconded by Councillor Van Riesche. Discussion? Councillor Van Passen.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I do have a question about the inability to get a good fax system. Now, one of the other ones is the lack of a good electronic system. I'm assuming those two are connected somehow. And is the fax technology still part of the home healthcare system? I know doctors' offices still use that a lot. Is that like, are we not keeping up with technology, or what is the overall big picture problem?
Thank you for your question, and I will pass that on to Sarah Page to answer.
Thanks, Marcia. Yes, there is a fax update report actually coming to the next advisory and Board of Health. We've been working extensively with IT on other solutions, and the one that we have right now we are testing out, and it seems to be working quite well. So we continue to assess this, but our Public Health Ontario labs, a lot of our family doctors and the hospital deal in faxes for secured medical information. So we're also as a team looking at other ways to do that, encrypted emails, things like that, to move forward in more 2024 technology instead of 1980 technology, yes.
Thank you for the question. Councillor Duthie, go ahead.
Don't mind me. How about now? Again, I'm really glad our head of IT is here. So along the same line, thank you, Madam Chair, through you, the issue on faxing, I guess, how did it come about? Did we not anticipate this when we changed providers, or did we just not have a plan for it, or how did that occur? It seems to me like this is, if it's such a significant risk, it's rated as a 25, it's pretty high. How did we get here?
Through you, Madam Chair, I'm just going to bring up our Director of IT, Adam.
So as you know, I just relatively recently started, so a lot of this is going to be based on some research that I've done being new. But basically, the way you start, first of all, faxing technology is circa 1980. Like, it is very old, but it is reliable, and the medical community loves it. So what we used to have is we used to have faxes coming into an old school fax machine, and people would walk by, faxes, and then distribute them. And there was health information there and concerns around that. So what we did is we basically took old technology and new technology and tried to bring it together. Not great, to be honest with you. So a lot of it is user education. Some of it is, well, if partial faxes are not received, it could be because they weren't actually sent, these sorts of things. So we're trying to eliminate as many failure points as we can. So there's a new solution that we're working with Rogers. It's completely online, still leveraging fax technology, but taking us a little bit out of the equation. So we are very hopeful that this will resolve all the issues that we've had. Very hopeful. The testing looks really good so far. If that answers your question.
Thank you. Any further questions? Councillor Van Riesche?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and through you. I wonder, what is your major concern out of the report? Like, what is the one thing that you could point to other than technology to improve or what we should be concerned about? What is your highest priority?
Through you, Madam Chair, to Councillor
there you
Bandadrishi. I think that the highest thing on our risk registry right now is the impact of change. And we recognize that our health unit as a whole, system-wide, not only with coming down from the Ministry of New OPHS standards and merger talks, but also the changes that are just happening within our staffing and moving offices as well. And so I think that the impact of change is at our highest risk right now. That's hard for people to do their job and have the extra things to consider at the same time. So it's just a lot all at once.
A lot all at once. I'm looking at item number 9 when I look at the lack of preparedness for such as the gas wells and things like that. That is one of my major concerns. When you say, when we're listing it as lack of, are there any thoughts of improvement or what things that can be done, or, you know, likewise in all of them, like, and I know moving and doing this and there's a lot of change, but in the back of your mind, you have to have preparedness. So I'm just wondering about that.
Thank you for that. And through committee chair to committee member, we are working extensively with our emergency planner and our colleagues in fire and paramedics to ensure that we do have better emergency preparedness going forward. And that's on multiple fronts. We do emergency exercises. The health unit itself has been involved in multiple respiratory system exercises this year. And we continue to highlight the priorities of the local area, which we know gas wells are a big part of for our environmental health team. So moving forward, just kind of staying the course and ensuring that we have the appropriate training and exercise and resources that we need to deal with these when they come up.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Also looking at number 7, staffing changes due to new staff orientation and staff moving to other programming areas. And then, of course, the uncertainty regarding the public health restructuring affecting funding, requests, and staff morale. So are we doing any programming with staff to increase the morale? Any bringing staff together and doing the boosting of team building? Thank you. Thank you for that.
Thank you for the question, Madam Chair. Yes, we have a committee together that is looking at staff wellness and resilience, and that is also part of one of the pillars in the strategic plan of the health unit as well too. So it is something that is on our radar, and we've been working quite diligently to put strategies in place to support staff through all of the changes that are happening to the health unit right now.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Marissa. Thank you. Anybody else? None? Okay, well, I'll call for the vote. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Next is 5.2, Social Services and Housing. 5.2.1, Ontario Works Discretionary Budget Update, HSS 24024. I will look for Stephanie Rice to introduce. Thank you.
Good morning. Through the chair, I would like to introduce Chris Parker, our Ontario Works Program Manager, who will be presenting the report. I wanted to thank Chris for the time and the work that she's done on the report, and I also wanted to thank Michael Van Sickle, who's seated next to Chris, our finance colleague, who is available to answer questions on this report as well. So with that, I will ask Chris to go ahead and present. Thank you.
Through the chair to members of the committee, I'm presenting staff report HSS 24024, information memo regarding Ontario Works discretionary budget update. The recommendation from staff is that the Ontario Works discretionary budget update be received as information. It was October 2015 when Council last reviewed the Ontario Works discretionary budget through report HSS 1521. Discretionary benefits are 100% provincially funded benefit items that assist recipients of Ontario Works and ODSP program with various health-related needs, funeral costs, and other needs. The Ministry of Community and Social Services, MCCSS, funds these benefits up to a capped amount, which is determined by a formula based on the service area's caseload numbers. This formula has not changed in many years, and with escalating consumer costs and inflation, discretionary funding caps place significant pressure on the ability to provide services in the community. This report serves as an update on discretionary benefits, the current pressures, the cost mitigation strategies that staff are using to address challenges. The Ontario Works Act provides the legislative framework for the provision of financial assistance to people in temporary financial need and outlines that in addition to basic financial assistance, mandatory and discretionary benefits are to be provided. Mandatory benefits are 100% provincial funded. The coverage types and limits are prescribed by MCCSS in their policy directives. Discretionary benefits are also 100% provincially funded up to a limit based on caseload numbers. Based on policy guidance, the items and amounts covered under discretionary items are determined by the Consolidated Municipal Service Manager, the CMSM, and the CMSM may make their decisions based on individual community needs and priorities. Discretionary benefits are provided on a case-by-case basis at the discretion of the administrator to persons in receipt of Ontario Works, ODSP, and members of prescribed classes such as persons in receipt of assistance for children with severe disabilities, is ACSD. The maximum amount of discretionary benefits funding available to municipalities determined by the formula, the greater of $10 per case per month, the caseload equaling the sum of the average of Ontario Works caseload plus the average of ODSP caseload within the geographic area, or no less than $2,500 per month. Expenditures which exceed this cap will be funded by the municipal levy. In 2022, the incoming requests for discretionary benefits began to exceed the funding available, and as such, social services has been unable to fund some of these requests. The social services team are working on some cost mitigation strategies in order to provide funds as needed without the need for municipal levy funding. The top 3 budget drivers for discretionary benefits are number 1, funerals and burials, number 2, dental services and dentures, and number 3 is vision services and glasses. Regarding number 1 budget driver being funerals, while most funeral costs are issued as a discretionary benefit for social assistance recipients, some other types of funerals are paid 100% by municipalities, such as unclaimed persons or low-income persons that are not in receipt of social assistance. The majority of the funerals, however, are covered for Ontario Works and ODSP recipients of Haldeman and Norfolk and are paid through Ontario Works discretionary benefits. MCCSS recommends a maximum amount of $2,250 for funeral costs, but the service manager has the discretion to exceed this guideline amount, but the total expenditures must still fall within the capped budget guideline. The current 2024 coverage amount is based on previous council decision to pay $4,200 with an annual increase commencing January 1st of each year based on the previous year's consumer price index. The 2010 decision also stated that cemetery costs were to be paid in addition to the base coverage amount. These additional costs vary depending on the provider and the location, but are typically an additional $1,000 to $3,000 per burial. The social services team continues to work with both Haldeman and Norfolk Cemetery teams to address these burials in a more cost-effective manner. Social services depends on several different funeral providers, and the costs do vary amongst them depending on the area, location, services provided, and the wishes of the family. The table in the report outlines the average costing of Haldeman Norfolk compared to other CMSMs in the province. Regarding budget driver number 2, dental care, dental and dentures is the second highest spending allotment for the discretionary budgets for discretionary benefits budget. Additional assistance for dental services is now being phased in through the federal government's announcement concerning the Canadian Dental Care Program. Services first will be provided to the disabled and the eligible adults over the age of 65, and over time will expand to other eligible adults age 18 to 64. These programs may have a significant impact on discretionary spending in the future, which will allow the discretionary benefits program to provide assistance to the community in other coverage areas. Working with partners such as the health unit, social services will continue to align services provided under federal and provincial programs to mitigate costs while ensuring all vulnerable residents are placed in the appropriate programs. The number 3 budget driver is vision care. Vision care and glasses are the third main driver of discretionary benefits. While costs of prescription glasses continue to rise, the discretionary budget amount has not increased to align with the need. At times, social services team has had to make decisions about coverage, about what coverage may be provided due to budget constraints. The team continues to look for cost-effective ways to provide discretionary benefits to residents who are in need that are within the parameters of the program. As municipalities move to budget discussions later this year, proposed solutions that address the significant pressures on this benefit allotment will be presented for consideration moving forward. In conclusion, while providing discretionary benefits to OW and ODSP recipients, while providing discretionary benefits remains an important service, the lack of ongoing increases in CAP funding has strained the ability to meet community needs. Ongoing strategic initiatives to align services with other available programs, collaboration with service providers in the community, and a commitment to solutions that balance need with fiscal responsibility will continue to guide the program. Staff will bring this item forward for consideration and direction during the 2025 budget discussions. So now at this time, I am open to questions that any of the members may have.
Thank you, Chris. I'm just going to get a mover and a seconder, and then we'll have discussion, please. Councillor Metcalf, you moved it, seconded by Councillor Duthie. Thank you. Discussion. Councillor Metcalf?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have heard some rumblings out there that there are a lot of dentists that are not opting into this program. Is that becoming an issue? I guess there wasn't a lot of information, conflicting information or why the dentists weren't opting into to be part of this program from the feds, if there's some information maybe on that.
Yeah, thank you for the question through the chair to Councillor Metcalf. There have been discussions. It is a federal program, so at this point, the province is working with municipalities on how the implementation will work and what it will look like. I wouldn't be able to comment on why dentists wouldn't opt in, but my understanding is it is the alignment of the costs. From our perspective, the outcome that we hope for is that once it includes 18 to 64-year-olds, that will have an overlap with some of the benefits that we provide at this time. And so instead of duplicating benefits, we'd be able to maximize the federal benefit and then use the funds that we do have for additional cost or other services, as Chris mentioned. But I don't have a lot of information on that. We're still waiting for some more conversation from the province on what we do and how we move forward with that program. So I have heard that, but I unfortunately can't comment very much on that. Sorry. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Van Riesche?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and through you. That stimulates another question. If the feds are going to give money for the program of which it's been passed and it's going to happen, the province is obviously going to pick up on that. And do you fear that the budget itself will be cut? Because if there's money provided for one thing, you don't want to duplicate services. This is their option to be able to reduce some funds unless we strategically have documentation to say we need it in the other directions.
That is a great question. Thank you for that question. Through the chair to Councillor Van Riesche, that was a concern of mine as well. Our initial engagement with the province is that we've been assured that that will not be the outcome and that we'll be able to work within the envelope that we have and that the decisions that we could make would be around for example, if the federal benefit covered a certain percentage and there was a top-up amount that we previously had covered, then we would be welcome to do that. And my thought at this point is that that would be equitable to the clients that we serve. And so probably that's part of how we would utilize the funding. But we've been assured at this time that that is not the intention of the province.
Just to further with that, then I'm pleased to hear that. My second question would be the other in our tables that we have here. I'm noting that, one, what is an other? And why, if we look at 2018, it was close to 8%, and now coming to 23, and probably moving forward, it's continuously reducing. Is there ways that you're finding it to slot into something else that's making it work, or what would the other be? I'm looking at table 2. When we look at the $10 cap,
Yeah, through the chair, we can pull that information and gather what all the others are. It's just a cumulative of everything that doesn't fit within those first 3, so we can pull that information and get it to you.
thank you. I just find it ironic, I guess, in a way. We're looking at in 2023 and another of 3.3%, and yet if we go back in time, when we note that funerals and dental was high, dental was high, but the funeral portion was lower, that if we look at the other, it was over 8%. So that just tells me, what are we doing differently? Where are we able to slot it into one of the others?
My apologies. I'd like to put some forward. Thank you for that. I was unclear on the question. My team has helped me with this through the chair to Councillor Van der Drie. Other category, it's a bit of a medley. Most of the driver there would be orthotics or care items needed for people who need bath assistance. Like, it can really vary across the need. And so, like other costs, those have increased over time, and depending on the number of requests that come through. For example, with orthotics, previously we hadn't been able to cover those, and so we were able to do so under certain circumstances. So the other category, as Chris mentioned in the report, we have the opportunity as a service manager to make decisions based on the needs and the drives in the community, and so that is something that has emerged more and more as a need. Aging population, we do provide supports through ODSP as well, and so the clients who are found with a person with a disability, they're looking for different things as well, and so it has a bit of an ebb and flow, if you will, but the costs have gone up and across the board, and so we do have opportunity to keep an eye on that, but it's still less than the other drivers, but it is increasing, and so is everything in that budget, unfortunately, because costs are escalating across the board. I hope that provides a little bit of clarity. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Van Passen?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I was going to ask a question similar to that one, but part of that could be that you're spending the same amount in the other category, but everything else went up, so the percentage of that category drops. So that was going to be my question is, like, are you going through the entire $750,000 every year, or have we had years where you didn't spend it all?
Through the chair to Councillor Van Passen, we are going through the entire amount. We haven't spent the entirety of the budget previous to 2022. We had some leverage, and so what would happen near the end of the year, we would be able to provide different requests or different funding allocations, but we're at the point now where everything is being fully reviewed because we have to make decisions about what to do with the funds. The costs are escalating across the board. The budget hasn't increased per client or per benefit unit, if you will, for many, many years, and so we're working with that same amount to fund costs that continue to escalate, and so we do need to make decisions on what do we cover, how does that look like. Chris and I have engaged in a review of the policy, looked at efficiencies, how can we decrease the pressures, but we're at the point now where we're bringing it forward to council for information and also bringing it to budget for discussion, because there is a high likelihood that this could impact the levy if we don't have a further discussion for decision.
And if I can follow up with that like the biggest expense there is the funeral, but we are also almost double what is the norm in other municipalities. And did I hear correctly that a report will be coming back on that? So.
Yes, through the chair, absolutely, Councillor Van Passen, we need to bring a report forward for that. Part of the escalating cost, the CPI increase that was decided many years ago has increased the amount that the funeral coverage is permitted to be each year, so that has had an impact. The other thing with funerals to note is that we can't control how many funerals were requested to cover in a year, and it has increased. So the number and the cost have been escalating over the past few years. So yes, we absolutely will be bringing that forward for discussion and decision, because without that, the budget will move into the levy, and we'll have other issues, and we don't want to be in a position where we're not funding other needed costs. Vision care, dental, those are important things too. We want to be able to have flexibility as much as possible, but we're doing more with the same amount, I guess, if that makes sense.
Thank you very much. Great questions, and look forward to the report coming up in consideration. Anything further? Nothing further? I'll call the vote. All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. Move on to Ontario Work Scheduling and Tool Replacement, HSS 24-025. And I look to Stephanie again for this. Thank you.
Hello again. Through the chair to the committee, once again, Chris Parker, our program manager, is going to present this report. For this report, I would like to thank our colleagues in IT. Shannon has written the report and worked very, very closely with us to bring this forward. So I wanted to thank Shannon, Chris, and Adam, who is also here. They're available to answer any technical questions should you have them. Chris and I are happy to answer questions related to the program, but some of the technical questions we may have to ask our friends in IT to support us. And with that, I'll ask Chris to go ahead. Thank you.
Through the chair to members of the committee, I am presenting staff report HSS 24-025, Ontario Works Scheduling Tool Replacement. Staff recommendation is that council receive report HSS 24-025 as information, and that council authorizes a single source supply according to Norfolk County Purchasing Policy CS02 with Clark Communications to acquire their integrated team scheduler for a term of 3 years. Staff are requesting council authorization to acquire a sector-specific technology to support the delivery of social services in Haldeman, Norfolk. The Clark Integrated Team Scheduler is a customized tool which is designed to meet the needs of each municipality while ensuring critical elements are consistent across OW delivery agents, which align with the Ontario Works provincial legislation. The scheduling tool solution currently being used by social services is outdated with limited functions and no available technical support. It is difficult to maintain and further poses a security risk to the county's IT infrastructure. Clark applications are utilized by 10 or more municipalities to support the delivery of Ontario Works program, and they provide integration with SAMS, which is the provincial social assistance technology. A single source purchase of the Clark scheduling tool will allow for the modernization of OW scheduling functions and reduce manual administration of duties. 50-50 funding for startup costs to purchase this new tool has been secured through MCCSS, and ongoing maintenance costs have been approved through budget process as outlined in HSS 23-065. The Ontario Works program is legislated, MCCSS funded program, which is administered locally by Norfolk County as service manager for Haldeman County and Norfolk County. SAMS, which is a system used to deliver the technology across Ontario, does not have the capacity for custom web applications, system planning, integration, and performance metric needs. The scheduler currently being used was acquired in 2008 by Social Services from the City of Toronto to manage scheduling, but it does not offer the ability to add details about appointments, create and edit multiple appointment types, generate and distribute appointment letters and email reminders, provide integration with SAMS, and generate custom metrics. The lack of capacity within the current schedule is resulted in various time-consuming manual administrative tasks. OW has limited resources and capacity to connect with individual clients for reminders. This negatively impacts attendance rates for those requiring service. The City of Toronto scheduling tool has discontinued software maintenance and no longer has technical support since Toronto uses new technology. The current software's technology stack is either too complex, outdated, non-compliant, or irrelevant to maintain when compared to modern platforms and poses a security risk to the county's IT infrastructure. Specifically, the system is segregated on the county's technology network to maintain compliance with cybersecurity standards and insurance. The clusters of segregated systems are considered end of life. Segregated systems present challenges for IT staff to maintain system availability, functionality, data backup, and recovery. OW and IT staff conducted research on technologies available and consulted with other municipalities and associations to explore optimal solutions. Clark Communications has developed 3 integrated web applications which have critical relationships with SAMS, and they provide they have become broadly accepted platforms within social assistance providers. The integrated team scheduler provides collaboration across teams, departments, and offices for the purpose of promoting wraparound services for clients. Additional features include staff availability calendars, conflict detection, automated invites and reminders, real-time attendee check-ins, on-demand metrics, report data, and dashboards. The authorization to acquire a single source supply of this sector-specific technology solution will modernize social services scheduling duties without the need for several separate manual processes, and has come highly recommended by other social services offices. This tool will support the delivery of social assistance for low-income individuals in families in Haldeman and Norfolk. In conclusion, staff are requesting that Council authorize a single source supply as outlined in Norfolk County Purchasing Policy CS-02, Section 4.8.4 with Clark Marketing Communications to acquire their integrated team scheduler for a term of 3 years. The purchase of Clark Scheduler will provide much-needed modernization since the tool currently used is considered end of life. The Clark Scheduler is considered to be the best available product to purchase since it is customized to municipal needs in delivering social assistance, and it has functionality to integrate with SAMS. It comes highly recommended by other service managers who use this tool in its delivery of social assistance. So now at this time, I'm opening the floor to questions that the committee may have.
Thank you, Chris. Before we move ahead, can I get a mover and a seconder, please? Councillor Van Riesche, seconder. Councillor Duthie, thank you. Questions? Councillor Van Riesche?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and through you. The question is, we're working to a point of amalgamations, for lack of a better term I have. If we purchase this, is this going to be a duplication of, or is this something that we need and require for the next 3 years that we have to, to move forward with this? And I have more questions, but that one first. Thank you.
Go ahead, Sarah.
Thank you, and through the chair, committee member. So the social services portion of Haldeman Norfolk Health and Social Services remains, and so moving forward, this scheduler is a piece of their equipment that will add multiple functionality to their work on a daily basis.
Thank you. That's good to hear, and I'd like the public to know that as well. Also then, it's a savings in time for individuals. Am I correct in saying that?
Through the chair, to the councillor, yes, definitely a savings of time. Currently, we have several different calendars that have to be cross-referenced and various manual tasks that that our program assistants and other staff have to complete in order to do the same functions that the scheduler will do in more of an automated fashion.
So there's an automated function that comes into it.
Yes.
And this is alleviating time for staff.
Yes.
Do you take at the end, will you be doing an analysis to find out, do we have the appropriate number in staffing, or is there a room for some condensing, or do you feel that this is just a tool that's added for the extras that people do?
Thank you, through the chair, to Councillor Van Riesche. The efficiency that the program will afford us will not result in a reduction of staff complement. I would like to just say, because I have the opportunity to do so, the social services and housing team are very, very busy, and our capacity is low based on the needs, and the needs continue to escalate. And so one of the efficiencies with this program isn't just the administrative burden. The other thing that I've become aware of is the additional opportunity for us to integrate some of our other programs with this particular tool, which is another reason that I'm very, very pro Clark scheduling tool. It will allow us to see some additional online opportunity for application for housing and some of our homeless prevention services. So looking at it for program delivery, not just for Ontario Works, but across the department. But absolutely not. This would not be a reduction in staffing complement. We need everybody that we have, and then some, if I can be frank. So
No,
thank you for the
I truly
question.
recognize that, because I find when working in offices, sometimes you take that extra 15 minutes that you're not being compensated for
That's
to do that
right.
additional stuff.
That's
And I'm
right.
thinking this is absolutely wonderful that
Yeah.
you can be able to implement that during the time, because I know myself that when you work, that you just keep going
You do.
and not really
Yeah.
realizing the time. So this is wonderful to see.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you
you.
for that. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Councillor Duthie?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you, I'm just curious a little bit on the strategy, the rollout strategy, so timelines, training, what we anticipate that will look like. And then I'll just ask my other question at the same time. I seem to recall I asked about this previously. There is ongoing maintenance of $50,000 a year, which to me initially seemed high, but I understand the justification for it. Is there any anticipation that that amount will have to increase sort of year over year, or will that be sufficient?
Through the chair, I'm going to start. Could you just repeat the beginning question, and then I'm going to ask finance to
So
weigh in.
regarding rollout timelines, training.
Yeah, thank you. Clark scheduling tool offers us an overview and a staff engagement and all of that. So we would take absolutely every opportunity that we have through them to get ourselves up to speed and get our staff up to speed. And then we would ensure that everybody had training and that they were prepared to use it. The Toronto scheduling tool, we don't have maintenance for it, but it can still operate in its very limited functionality until we're able to roll this out, is our understanding. And so we would, as soon as we're able to move forward, or if we're able to move forward, we will engage with Clark on staff engagement sessions, make sure that we have the training and tools and resources that they can provide for us, which I assume are ample. Other municipalities have had successful rollout and move forward with very little impact to their workload. And then we will continue to ensure that people have what they need, working in partnership with our IT team and so on and so forth, and have a plan forward. So I do not anticipate any issues with that. They've done this a number of times and very successfully. So that's another nice thing to know. They've worked with neighboring municipalities. They've been successful. They understand our work, obviously, because they're aligned with our provincial database. They understand what we need it for. And so I'm confident that we'll be able to do that well and as streamlined as possible. For your financial question, I'm going to ask Michael if he could comment on that, if there's any anticipated increase in the ongoing cost.
Through the chair. So at this time, the maintenance cost was based on, Stephanie kind of alluded to it, that we had like an average from other municipalities, and that's what it was based off of. So not a firm number, I would say, but we could definitely, if it's committee's recommendation, we could highlight it in the budget to identify any changes, increase or decrease going forward.
Thank you for that. Is there a contractual amount for maintenance that we've signed into for X number of years? Or will, pardon me, I should say will, it's not done yet.
No, I don't believe it's a contractual amount, but Stephanie, do you have anything to add?
Through the chair, in the conversations with our peer municipalities and with the Clark Communications, it is a standard 3-year agreement. That's a vendor agreement with a couple of renewal options available to us. When we first started our research about 2 years ago, the cost did not increase from 2 years until present day. With just in general across other technology agreements, you can see a smaller increase as renewals come up, and that's just vendor specific.
I appreciate that, and thanks for the comments. That sounds positive. I just don't want it to get away from us. I don't want us to sign into something for 3 years, and in 3 years' time, where we go to renew it, it's now doubled in price, and we need to go through this process all over again. So, thank you for that. And just Stephanie, just back to you. So, are you anticipating we can have this sort of rolled out before the end of this year? Okay. Thank you.
Yes, through the chair. Yes.
Any further questions? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Move on to communications, 6.1 June Alpha Info Break. May I have a motion to accept item 6.1 June Alpha Info Break as information? Mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Duthie, seconded by Councillor Metcalf. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? That motion is carried. Thank you. There's nothing under other business. We do have 3 items in our closed session today. May I have a mover for the following motion? That the committee enter closed session at 10:18 a.m. pursuant to Section 2392 of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended, as the subject matter pertains to B, personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, and D, labor relations or employee negotiations. Mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Van Rishi, seconded by Councillor Van Passen. All in favor? That motion is carried. Thank you. We'll move into closed.
Soon after, members of council and I took our seats right here in council chambers last November, we began to plan the direction we'd like to see Norfolk County take over the next 4 years and beyond. A direction that builds on our strengths and sets a strong foundation in place for future generations. We looked outward to the people of Norfolk for input. We listened to you, the valued members of our community, from our sandy lake shores, our vibrant downtowns, our picturesque countryside, and our bountiful farmland. We engaged leaders from local businesses and community agencies. We gathered ideas from our team across the county. Based on what we've heard, we created Our Future Norfolk, a set of priorities that focuses on 5 key areas: empowering Norfolk, building Norfolk, connecting Norfolk, serving Norfolk, and sustaining Norfolk. These priorities, along with the initiatives and activities that drive them, will guide council and staff as we work together to serve you and all of the members of our community over the next 4 years. On behalf of Norfolk County Council and staff, we invite you to check out our website at norfolkcounty.ca/OurFutureNorfolk and return frequently to learn more about our path to a vibrant and strong future for all of us, now and in the years to come.
Hi, I am Mohammed from Norfolk County Planning Department. We get a lot of questions at the Planning Department, and this video series will answer some of those. The first big question is, what is the official plan? Norfolk County's official plan describes Council's policy on how lands in our community should be used, managed, and developed. It is prepared with community input and helps to ensure the future planning and development will meet the specific needs of our community. An official plan includes issues such as where new housing, industry, offices, and shops will be located, and what services like roads, water mains, sewers, parks, and schools will be needed. It also defines when and in what order our community will grow and outlines community improvement initiatives. The official plan is approved by the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing in Ontario. The current official plan was adopted in 2016 with a goal to manage the growth of this county for the next 20 years. Residents can see Norfolk County official plan on our website at norfolkcounty.ca/official plan. What is a secondary plan? A secondary plan is a more detailed policy document embedded within the official plan to address the growth and development issues unique to a specific area of the county. For example, the lakeshore area in Norfolk County or a particular urban area with defined characteristics can be a secondary plan. As I mentioned, it is a more detailed policy document. It provides directions on where future development will occur with a guideline on density, road access, infrastructure services, different building types, building heights, or even design guidelines that are compatible to that specific area. In Norfolk County, there is only one secondary plan at this moment, which is the Lakeshore Special Policy Area Secondary Plan. The Port Dover Secondary Plan would be the second plan the county is working on at this moment. What does the land use designation of a property mean? Norfolk County's official plan also identifies how individual land or a group of lands will be used, and this is done by the land use designation. In Norfolk County, a lot of lands have been designated as agricultural. Some areas have been designated as hazard lands because of their specific natural features. An example would be the natural creeks, streams, rivers, or shoreline areas. Some lands have been designated as residential, commercial, or industrial to efficiently manage the growth of specific land use. Each land designation has rules about the kind of development allowed. The official plan uses growth management data to identify where and how much growth will occur in the next 20 years. In accordance with the provincial requirement, Norfolk County reviews and updates these growth areas every 5 years. What is the process of changing an official plan designation? A landowner can request to change the designation of the land through an official plan amendment application. This change requires a public hearing meeting and council's decision. A landowner needs to consult with a planner to get more information about this process and to identify the required documents they must submit. Any official plan amendment needs to conform to the provincial policy statement, which is a planning policy document that affects all municipalities across Ontario. This provincial policy statement is currently under review and may change in the future. To learn more about planning in Norfolk County, visit our website at norfolkcounty.ca/planning or contact the planning team at 519-426-5870 or 226 Norfolk, extension 1842, or email planning@norfolkcounty.ca. Thanks for watching.
Hi, I'm Hannah from the Norfolk County Planning Department. We receive many questions at the Planning Department, and this video series will answer some of those, like, what types of planning applications are there? There are 4 main types of planning applications for different needs. First, there are minor variances and different types of severances. These are reviewed by Norfolk County's Committee of Adjustment. An example of a minor variance is when a garage is being built closer to a property line or is taller than what is permitted in the zoning bylaw. An example of a consent to sever is creating a new lot to allow for a new house. Second, are zoning bylaw and official plan amendments that are considered at council. An example is changing the permission in an urban area to allow for a triplex where a single detached dwelling is permitted. Third, are applications that Ontario's Planning Act gives Norfolk County's Planning Department authority to approve. For example, a draft plan of condominium or subdivision, which are types of applications which enable the division of land for future housing. And fourth, are applications which rely on approval from another regulator, such as telecommunications towers and hazard land boundary line adjustments. As a resident, when do I need to submit a planning application? For the average homeowner, a planning application may be required if your project does not meet the requirements of the zoning bylaw or official plan, or your property falls under site plan control. The building department will let you know that a planning application is required. If you want to change the boundaries of your lot, create an easement, or create a new lot from your property, you will need to apply for a consent to sever with the planning department. What is a pre-consultation meeting? A pre-consultation meeting is the first step of a planning application and allows staff to clarify the application process and provide a checklist of documents required. A complete application can reduce the time required for review and decision-making. Applications that must undergo a pre-consultation meeting before the application can be submitted include official plan amendments, zoning bylaw amendments, draft plans of subdivision, draft plans of condominium, and site plan applications. A meeting may also be required for certain Committee of Adjustment applications. To learn more about planning in Norfolk County, visit our website at norfolkcounty.ca/planning or contact the planning team at 519-426-5870 or 226 Norfolk, extension 1842. You can also email planning@norfolkcounty.ca. Thanks for watching. Hi, I'm Hannah from the Norfolk County Planning Department. We receive many questions at the Planning Department, and this video series will answer some of those. A common question is, what is zoning? Zoning is a way of categorizing how land can be used. Norfolk County has identified through its zoning bylaw different land use zones, for example, commercial, agricultural, or residential, what they can be used for, and any required standards, for example, building size and location. Zoning must be maintained by any development or activity that has started from the date the zoning bylaw has been passed by the county. What is the process of changing a zoning bylaw? A common reason that residents are referred to the planning department is because their proposal does not meet the current zoning bylaw provisions. If a landowner wants to change the land use from what is permitted in the existing zoning, a change in the zoning bylaw would be required. For example, changing the permission from only a single detached dwelling to expand the permission to build a triplex. This is called a zoning bylaw amendment and it requires council's approval. A planning application known as a minor variance can be submitted for a minor change in the zoning bylaw, such as the height or size of a structure. Minor variances are reviewed by the Committee of Adjustment that is made up of citizen members who are appointed by council. The committee is governed by the Planning Act and holds public meetings to approve applications for minor variances and consents. A minor variance must meet the 4 tests to be approved. 1, the change is minor. 2, the development is desirable for the appropriate use of the land, building, or structure. 3, the change maintains the general intent and purpose of the official plan. And 4, the change maintains the general intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw. What happens after a decision is made by the Committee of Adjustment? If the committee approves an application, the applicant and anyone else involved is notified. Certain parties can appeal a decision to the Ontario Land Tribunal within a 20-day appeal period. If no appeals are filed, the county issues notice that the decision is final. For minor variances, an applicant can now proceed with the building permit process. For severances, specific conditions must be met within 2 years, or the application will expire and the process will need to restart from the beginning. To learn more about planning in Norfolk County, visit our website at norfolkcounty.ca/planning or contact the planning team at 519-426-5870 or 226 Norfolk, extension 1842, or email planning@norfolkcounty.ca. Thanks for watching.
Hi, I am Mohammed from Norfolk County Planning Department. We've got a lot of questions here, and this video series will answer some of those. What is a severance? Severance is a planning process to separate a piece of land from an existing lot, generally for the purpose of a new development within a new lot. There are three different common types of severances we receive in Norfolk County. The first one is when a piece of land is separated to create a new parcel of vacant land. For example, a landowner may have a large lot and wish to separate a piece of land from the original lot with the intention to sell the lot to a new owner. In that case, both lots need to comply with existing zoning requirements such as setbacks of any existing or new buildings from the property lines. The second one is a surplus farm dwelling severance. It happens when a landowner purchases additional farmlands and a residence on one of the properties is no longer required for their farming operation. In this case, the owner can sever the piece of land that contains the redundant residential dwelling. And the third kind of severance can be a boundary adjustment between two adjacent properties, where one property owner agrees to transfer a piece of their land to the other owner. There are various reasons we received a boundary adjustment severance, such as to allow additional lands, to accommodate a building construction, or to construct an extended septic system, or to resolve the setback deficiency of an existing lot. To learn more about planning in Norfolk County, visit our website at norfolkcounty.ca/planning or contact planning team at 519-426-5870 or 226 Norfolk, extension 1842, or email planning@norfolkcounty.ca. Thanks for watching. Hi, I am Mohammed from Norfolk County Planning Department. We've got a lot of questions here, and this video series will answer some of those. What is a subdivision? If a landowner would like to divide their property into 3 pieces of land, they can submit a severance application that we explained earlier. Whereas a subdivision application is required when a landowner has a piece of land large enough to divide into more than 3 or 4 individual lots to build new houses or other kind of developments. The subdivision process generally requires a more in-depth review with a longer processing time to ensure that the development meets county's development standards. What is a condominium? A condominium, often known as a condo, is an ownership model where the building or group of buildings is divided into multiple units that are surrounded by common areas for circulation, servicing, or amenities such as parks and open spaces. The common areas are jointly owned and managed by the owners of the units. Residential condominiums are frequently constructed as apartment buildings and townhouses with private roads. Many shopping malls are also commercial condominiums in which the individual retail and office spaces are owned by businesses that occupy them, while the common areas of the mall are collectively owned by these business entities. A condominium corporation is often made up of condo unit owners who manage and operate the condominium complex. What is the difference between a subdivision and a condominium? One of the main differences between a subdivision and a condominium development is who is responsible for providing services such as water, wastewater, and road maintenance after the construction and occupancy of the dwellings or units. In a subdivision, the county takes responsibility for providing these services to individual lots. On the other hand, in a condominium, the county is only responsible to providing services up to the entry point of the development. The condominium is responsible for distributing services and the maintenance to the individual units. How are subdivisions and condominiums approved? To get approval for a subdivision or condominium, the landowner must apply for approval of a draft of the plan that shows how many lots are proposed, the lot size, how the lots will be accessed, including any new roads, and how the lots will be serviced for water and wastewater or other utilities. The planning team will provide guidelines to the landowner on the standards they need to comply with. Examples include road design, tree plantation, fencing requirements, and maintaining a buffer from any existing industrial or commercial sites, etc. Generally, the subdivision applications go to council for a decision, whereas most of the condominium applications are currently approved by the county staff under delegated authority. How are residents informed about a new subdivision? When a draft plan of a subdivision is approved, the neighbors receive an approval notice of the application. The neighbors have 20 days to appeal against the approval or refusal of the draft plan. Once the appeal period has expired, there is still a lot of work that needs to be done by the developer before beginning the construction. An approved draft plan of subdivision does not constitute a legal lot. It is merely a draft plan. Norfolk County must ensure that all lots are appropriately designed and serviceable through a subdivision agreement, and only then can the lots be registered and the owner can apply for a building permit. To learn more about planning in Norfolk County, visit our website at norfolkcounty.ca/planning or contact planning team at 519-426-5870 or 226 Norfolk, extension 1842, or email planning@norfolkcounty.ca. Thanks for watching. Hi, I am Mohammed from Norfolk County Planning Department. We get a lot of questions here, and this video series will answer some of those. What is site plan control? Site plan control is a tool that planners use to evaluate a proposed development to ensure the site features and elements such as walkways, parking areas, and landscapings, and many other technical features meet specific standards. For example, standards may include engineering design, sustainability, and universal accessibility for barrier-free access to the building or within the property. What do I do if I have submitted a permit and I have learned my property is under site plan control? If a property is under a site plan control, the first step is to speak with a planner. A planner will need to learn about what is changing about the lands, which may or may not require a site plan application. What is a site plan waiver? Sometimes the nature of a development is so minor that a site plan application is determined to be unnecessary. In this instance, a site plan control will be waived. If you have learned from a planner that it is appropriate to waive a site plan control, you can submit an application form with any required documents to the planning department to receive a site plan waiver. Do all lands require site plan control? Not all lands require site plan control. For example, single detached dwellings, semi-detached dwellings, and townhouses that are serviced and accessed from a public road. Agricultural activities or farm buildings also do not require a site plan control. Most new commercial, institutional, and industrial developments require a site plan control. A site plan agreement with the landowner may be required to ensure that appropriate standards are maintained during the construction period. To learn more about planning in Norfolk County, visit our website at norfolkcounty.ca/planning or contact the planning team at 519-426-5870 or 226 Norfolk, extension 1842, or email planning@norfolkcounty.ca. Thanks for watching.
Hey Norfolk County! Whether you're a longtime resident, new to the area, or simply visiting, do you know about the many services provided by Norfolk County? As a single-tier municipality, we provide services that our community uses every day, including water and fire protection, curbside garbage and recycling, road and sidewalk maintenance, and so much more. We also provide services needed at unique times in life, such as a marriage or business license, or a dog tag for your new companion. And the unique geographic features in Norfolk County, from farmland and forests to lakes and wetlands, means we also provide specialized services ranging from drainage applications to tree inspections. Wondering how to contact Norfolk County? Start with Service Norfolk. Our friendly team of agents is here to help. Reach us by phone at 519-426-5870 or 226 Norfolk from 8:30 to 4:30 Monday to Friday. Calling about an issue after hours? No problem. We have you covered. Prefer online? Email askus@norfolkcounty.ca anytime, or use our customer service portal at service.norfolkcounty.ca and get a reply right to your email inbox. Want to visit us in person? Come to one of our friendly customer service counters in Simcoe, Monday to Friday, or Delhi, Tuesday to Thursday. Service Norfolk, connecting you to Norfolk County services.
Hey Norfolk County, did you know that Ride Norfolk is now on demand? This means you can schedule Norfolk's public transit service to pick you up for appointments, shopping, school, or work. Ride Norfolk has partnered with Blaze Transit to offer on-demand pickups at all 95 stops across Norfolk, including this one. I booked my trip earlier today and my bus is here right on time. Since there are no fixed local schedules, you can easily book Ride Norfolk over the phone, online, or on the Blaze Transit app from your smartphone. Thanks, Charlie.
You're welcome.
Ride Norfolk's customer service team can help answer any questions you may have, get you started with the app, or book your next ride. By moving to on-demand, Ride Norfolk is helping more residents get where they need to go. To learn more, visit norfolkcounty.ca/transit.
Hi, I'm Dave. I'm here to take you behind the scenes for a quick look at what we do at Norfolk County's water treatment facility. Here in Port Rowan, the water treatment process starts by pumping water from Lake Erie up into the water treatment facility. Back in the treatment facility, I inspect large clarification tanks where the lake water enters the plant. Here we add coagulant, a chemical that attracts dirt particles together. These form into larger particles called flock, which eventually sinks and is sent to waste. Next, the water enters the filtration system where any remaining dirt particles are trapped by the filters. The water is then chlorinated and sent into a 113 cubic meter underground storage chamber. The water is then taken to the granular activated carbon filters that work like supersized 10,000 pound Brita filters to remove taste and odor. The final step is disinfection, which includes UV and a final dose of chlorine, ensuring safe, potable drinking water. Water testing is an important part of the job. Throughout the day, we take water samples at different stages of the process, up to 9 tests depending on the treatment facility. As a Norfolk resident myself, I am proud to serve the community I live in. Thanks for joining me in this behind-the-scenes tour.
Hi, I'm Marissa, and I'm here to take you behind the scenes for a quick look at what we do at Norfolk County's waste and recycling operations. Here at the transfer station in Simcoe, residents can bring a variety of waste materials for disposal. Norfolk operates 2 transfer stations welcoming about 27,000 customers every year and accepts material ranging from bulky items, wood, metal, and yard waste. Norfolk also provides curbside waste programs. Recycling from your home arrives at this facility where it is manually sorted by the type of material. You can see why it's important to separate materials into the correct bin, rinse recyclables, and remove items from bags. This facility processes 4,600 metric tons per year. That's equal to about 20 tons per day. Once items are sorted by material type, they are baled and ready to be shipped across North America to be made into new material. About 8 to 10% of the material that arrives here shouldn't have been put in the recycling bin. Residents can use our Recycle Coach app to confirm if an item can be recycled. After seeing how waste is handled, I hope this video helps show why rinsing and sorting your recyclables are important steps in the recycling process. As a Norfolk County employee, I am proud to serve the community I was raised in. Thanks for joining me on this behind-the-scenes tour.
Hey Norfolk County, whether you're a longtime resident, new to the area, or simply visiting, do you know about the many services provided by Norfolk County? As a single-tier municipality, we provide services that our community uses every day, including water and fire protection, curbside garbage and recycling, road and sidewalk maintenance, and so much more. We also provide services needed at unique times in life, such as a marriage or business license,
Okay, we are back into open. May I have a mover to motion to reconvene in open session at 10:47 a.m.? Moved by Councillor Van Riesche, seconded Councillor Van Passen. All in favor? The motion is carried. Thank you. May I have a mover to accept the following recommendations for agenda item 8.1, HSS 2429? as well as item number 8.2, HSS 24031, as well as agenda item 8.3, report number HSS 24033, that staff proceed as directed. Could I get a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Metcalf, seconded by Councillor Duthie. All in favor? That motion is carried. Thank you. Our next meeting is Monday, July 22nd, 2024. May I have a mover to adjourn at 10:48 a.m. Moved by Councillor Duthie, seconded Councillor Metcalf. All in favor? That's carried. We are adjourned. Thank you.